Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Um, Good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear friends, excellencies, students, friends, uh, youth, whoever feels young. It doesn't matter how you feel. The most important thing right now is that we are all in the same virtual room. And what brought us together today is Ramadan Summit, which is the finalization of Design Post-COVID Humanity, Ta'aruf, Ta'awun, and Tarahum program, acquaintance, cooperation, and mercifulness. This program became possible through a collaboration. And the partners which made this collaboration alive came from Lebanon, Turkey, Morocco, international organizations, and local organizations in Qatar. Today, we are starting the Ramadan Summit with the support of one of our amazing partners, United Nations Development Program Beirut office, and they kindly helped us to organize a session led by their Celine Moyroud. And the title of her presentation is Youth Responsible Citizens, and there's a dash, Youth Dash Responsible Citizens and Active Social Innovators. I wanted to emphasize the dash because I think it's important. I feel that this is a very new term and it's going to be even more important in the near future. And before introducing their Celine in more detail, I would like to indicate that in the past 2.5 years, our colleagues in United Nations Development Program in Lebanon, they have been supporting us immensely, especially initially with the Maker Majlis that we organized in 2019. The Youth Leadership Program sent 4 representatives to support us with one of our workshops. And of course, it was the pre-COVID world, and it was an event in person, and they came all the way from Lebanon, and also some of their alumni joined us. Since then, we have started to scaffold an amazing collaboration. And therefore, first of all, I would like to thank them. And afterwards, in Design Post-COVID Normal collaboration last summer, 2020, it was an amazing experience with our colleagues in UNDP Lebanon as well. And finally, as I indicated earlier, Design Post-COVID Humanity program, we kept continuing our collaboration. And it was not only a one-fold collaboration, it was multifold, sometimes through networking events, sometimes organizing hackathons, sometimes speakers, sometimes co-working sessions. So we believe that during the COVID times, when we had to rely more on the digital world, digital realm, we really tailored fruitful, productive, and inclusive collaborations for the youth. So once again, we are sending our special gratitude and thanks to our colleagues in Lebanon, starting with their Ms. Celine Moyroud, who is our guest speaker today, and also their Dr. Nada Swaidan and their Ms. Nadine Hawla, who have been supporting us immensely. And of course, not to forget our other collaborators, Islamic Cooperation Youth Forum, ICYF. You will see some guest speakers during the Ramadan Summit nominated by them. Another amazing collaboration, which really got more intense, especially in the COVID time. Amazing innovation labs from Morocco, from Turkey, Salt Lab, Nobox Lab, Shark Forum, and many other collaborations actually have been spearheaded in this time. So it's so exciting. We are starting a whole marathon. Today's guest speaker is their Celine Moyroud. Ms. Celine started her assignment as country director in 2017. Prior, she worked as a senior program advisor in UNDP's Regional Bureau for Arab States, headquartered in New York, overseeing a complex crisis, a transition portfolio including Yemen, Libya, Tunisia, Somalia, and Sudan. Ms. Celine started her assignment as country director, and she worked as a conflict prevention advisor from 2003 to 2009 at UNDP's Bureau for Crisis Prevention and Recovery, where she led the rolling out of the organization's conflict analysis tool, provided technical assistance to country offices, and strengthened the partnership with the UN Secretariat to implement the prevention agenda. Based in Kenya and in the United Kingdom, Ms. Moyroud led Safer World's efforts to develop a resource pack on conflict sensitivity from 2001 to 2003. She worked in Belgium for the conflict prevention network to support the efforts of the European Union on conflict prevention. Ms. Moyroud, sorry for the pronunciation mistake, holds an MA in International Conflict Analysis from the University of Kent, Canterbury. Welcome there, Ms. Celine. We are so honored to have you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the introduction. Based on just reading my short resume, you know how old I am. So I don't know whether I qualify for being a young person anymore. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, it's my pleasure to be here, and I'm really delighted to be with you today. And thank you very much for the invitation. And I know that as we are starting Ramadan, I wanted to wish you all a holy month. So thanks again for the invitation, and thanks for the recognition of the partnership. I think it's I would also want to acknowledge the partnership that we have had over the last couple of years to try to see how we can work together to support young people from across the world, so that we can interact, share experiences, and hopefully think collectively about the priorities that matter to young people. So thank you, and I'm also delighted because I think many of the young people that also went through this program together with the university are also part of the UNDP YLIP program, which I'm very proud of too. So thanks again. You've asked me to speak for a few minutes on issues of responsible citizens and social innovators. I don't know whether the dash means something specific, but I will try to walk you through this to see whether I can make sense of it. So let me spend a few minutes maybe to kind of give maybe a bit of an overview as to how we see young people, at least in UNDP and in UNDP Lebanon, and also how we see their role as responsible citizens and active social innovators. And obviously, I just want to start by also drawing particular thanks to Nada and Nadine that are online with us. I think what I'm going to be speaking to actually, it's not my work, it's really their work. And I just want to pay tribute to their dedication and their passion, because I think this is what it is in really trying to emulate the type of engagement that we have had with young people in Lebanon for the last couple of years. So thank you for this. So let me start by maybe putting a little bit the background to what I'm going to say. I think we all know that young people represent today the largest generation of youth the world has ever seen. And I think, you all are, socially engaged, educated, and, already calling for change. I think calling for change, we've seen various movements across the world, across the various decades, asking for change, different type of change, change to end discrimination, change in terms of climate, change in terms of, the Arab Spring, where we saw 10 years ago, so willingness to change. So for us, it's fundamental, to see how we can work with youth and support youth as agent of change. Obviously, starting with their own ideas, their own voice, and their own vision of what they see the future looking like. And I think this needs to be the starting point. It needs to start with the young people own ideas and own vision for the future, especially because I believe that today's challenges will weigh even more on their shoulders. I mean, than maybe what weighed on my shoulder when I was a young person. I mean, we look today at the issues of climate, we look at today at the issues of environment, urbanization, crisis. And I think, the current and the next generation of young people, will have and will have a lot of carry also to make sure that tomorrow is actually hopefully a better future than maybe it is today. So with that in mind, I think, as UNDP, we have invested in the youth leadership program. And I must say, I have been very privileged to be part of that journey. Because I think it has been a very I think a very a journey of learning together, a journey of connecting, a journey of partnering, and hopefully a journey of giving back. And I just want to highlight how I have seen, within the context of our youth leadership program, the type of responsible citizens and social innovators that not only we can dream about, but actually, we can see in our day-to-day engagement with young people in Lebanon. So let me speak maybe to a few examples of how this has come together, how this has manifested. I think for me, what is very important, the youth leadership program is not a program for young people. It's a program by young people for young people, and that we've been very keen to have the alumni of the youth leadership program to become part and parcel of the YLP. They are at the center of designing, at the center of also delivering, the program with UNDP. And for me, that's a very important step that some of the former cohorts of YLP have taken to make this program as much theirs as it is ours as UNDP. And I think this is a very important steps really in taking charge as to what this program should focus on and should provide. Second, I think we've seen a lot of engagement, both in terms of community engagement, but also in terms of social engagement by our YLP. I have several examples. I think we have one of our alumni, Asma, which has been working on a medical device that monitors vital sign of patients. I think in the context of COVID, now she's looking to see how to design a ventilator for COVID patient because of we know the shortage of ventilators in Lebanon. So I think from an initial focus on medical device, this has gone into like really trying to test out what can be innovative solutions to the pandemic that we see. We are also seeing, lots of young people that are looking to invest in social businesses, looking at recycling, not just to make profit as a business, but also to give back in terms of the environment in Lebanon. And actually, I've met those two young ladies that are doing an amazing job in terms of recycling. We also are looking at, today a number of YLPs that are coming together to initiate campaigns to help families in needs all over Lebanon. I think we've seen it after the blast where there was a great need to step up. And I think we've seen young people across the country, coming to Beirut and helping, neighborhoods that have been affected. And we're seeing that again today as you know, the countries is facing more and more challenges, and where young people, you know, come together, try to through either their own networks or mobilizing, you know, donations, try to come to families in need. And I think, you know, part of the skills that we were able to provide through the YLP in terms of social innovation and business planning, I think may also come handy in that context. Finally, I think I've seen also how, you know, it's not just about community engagement, not just about social innovation. It's also about engaging in issues that are maybe at the core of the SDGs. And in many ways, if I was looking at the Arab Youth Survey that was just completed for 2020, at the core of some of the priorities that young people were speaking to in terms of change. So for instance, we've also been looking to see how we engage not just the youth leadership program, but also some of the youth that are in universities in issues of corruption, accountability, and transparency. And actually, we've seen a great interest in terms of kind of leverage a lot of the experience, the network, and the partnership that was creating within the context of the youth leadership program to enter into issues of governance and trying to see how together they can, young people can influence change. So I think that's also, I think, an interesting kind of engagement that I've seen in Lebanon. And then finally, I think, and I was very touched by recently, some of the young people in the youth leadership program have also kind of engaged in a campaign on COVID. We've produced a number of videos by young people and for young people to try to speak to the dangers of COVID. And you will see that some of the same young men and women that have been part of our program actually writing the script, but also playing the part in those videos so that they can speak directly to what will influence different type of behaviors in the context of COVID. So obviously, just examples of the type of engagement that we've seen in Lebanon that really speaks to me to issues of responsible citizens, issues of social innovators, and it's just a few examples of some of the wonderful experience we have had with the YLP. If I may just conclude, because I think it's just more interesting maybe to have a conversation. I mean, for me, a few things that I've taken away from this engagement. First, I do believe, even though in Lebanon we don't necessarily, there's not general, a lot of discussions around the SDGs in the public domain. I think the Sustainable Development Goals, in my view, remains the frameworks that connects it all and that brings it together. You know, from issues of poverty to issues of climate to issues of governance. So it remains, I think, a very powerful framework for change. And I really feel that this is very much the proper anchor for what we want to be supporting young people on. Second, and that's at the center of the SDG, I think it's the power or the value of partnership. What I've seen more and more, at least in the work that we're doing in Lebanon, is that it's less and less one person, one ID, but much more because of the kind of wicked problems that we are all facing, you know, as young people, but as human beings on this planet. It requires collaborations, it requires teamwork, and it requires also diversity. So I think, you know, the importance of coming together, in my view, is fundamental. I've also seen the importance of networks. You know, what we've seen with the YLP is that it's kind of become a stepping stone for young people then to kind of take on different programs, connects with others, so that across you get maybe you are exposed to different experiences, you have access to different expertise, you expand your network, from local, regional, and global. And I think this is an important element, I think, in leverage our ability to be responsible citizens and social innovators. And I think there's no better example of that than Nadine, that now has become the one of the young leaders as part of the Samsung Global and UNDP overall youth global program. So I think, I think there's something to be said about connecting. And then my last point is about connecting. I think sometimes we feel that our problems are local or global, but I think the ability of young people to connect all those different levels, I think, is key. And I think in the Arab state region, young people have defined themselves as the digital generation. So I think there much to be said about their ability to connect local, regional, and global. And I think that's a strength. That's the strength to look at how to address problem and how to look at being responsible citizens. Responsible citizens doesn't mean just in your country. I think it's also for global issues that we are all facing. So that would be my few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much there, Celine. This was really fantastic. This is a great start to our Ramadan Summit. And without further ado, I would like to actually invite our colleagues, our participants, to share their reflections, if they like, on the chat or directly. And please, if you want to talk and if you want to share in person, please kindly digitally raise your hand, like Dr. Muna. I can see her hand. So please, Dr. Muna, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Evren, and thank you, Ms. Celine, for your intervention. I would like to say that as a representative of also a training partner in the Youth Leadership Program in Lebanon, we could really witness on ground how much this program is positively affecting the youth of Lebanon from different backgrounds. So I think this is a very valuable asset, is that it's attracting youth from very diverse backgrounds. And now with virtual, it was able to reach out to many people in different areas, geographical areas that usually are maybe less involved in such programs. And we could see the impact of being part of such innovation program for the SDGs on the youth lives, and how they are committed to be doing more and more even after the program is over. So this is something, honestly, that gives me a lot of not just pride but faith in the future of the Lebanon, with everything that's going on. As you all know, we are facing many difficult situations and many different crises, unfortunately. And the youth, they need this light, if you want to say, at the end of the tunnel, and YLP is definitely giving them that. And I would also like to say that the YLP Leadership Program by the UNDP Lebanon is not just supporting youth, but supporting the whole innovation for SDG, let's say, ecosystem, including the partnering organizations like ourselves, for example. Like, I'm representing Riyada for social innovation. And thanks to UNDP, for example, we got connected with Dr. Evren, and now we're also partnering in DPCH. So this is also another impact, I would say, on how they are helping Lebanese organizations that have a similar vision and are working, on the same mission, really, to also have a wider reach and a bigger impact outside the geographic borders of Lebanon. So I think this is something to add on what Celine And maybe I would like to ask her a little bit about any plans extending this work as well, maybe for other like age groups, or is it gonna be only for the youth?
Celine, would you like to respond or?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mona, for your kind words. This is much appreciated. And I think this is something that we've all very much appreciated. And I think there's a great alignment with not just with the young people that are joining the program, but also the alumni, but also those partner organizations that are supporting the program. And I think I'm glad to see also that this allowed also for connecting your organization, but others with other scheme on issues of youth empowerment and innovation. Whether there's plans to extend it to other age groups, I must say I have not thought about this from that perspective, but I think, you know, we happy to explore. I think the issue is to be relevant, and that's the importance, is to be relevant to people in Lebanon. So we're trying to be relevant to the needs and priorities of young people. If that other age group for which we can also cater for, we're happy to discuss. I think what we are looking at the moment is particularly because there's a lot of issues around access to employment and professional experience that are, you know, not that easy today in Lebanon. We're also trying to see whether we can try to kind of think through either a kind of a more structured fellowship program or internship program that it would not just be with UNDP, but maybe also the whole of UN, kind of bringing other UN agencies and maybe other partner organizations in Lebanon, so that we, around this YLP program, we also creates opportunity for young people to also learn to get some professional experience on issues that they are either interested in or they want to follow their path on. So at the moment, that's some of the ideas that we have on those issues, but I mean, happy to discuss also other age groups possibilities. Over.
I can see another hand raised by the Ryan. Please, floor is yours, dear Ryan.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Evren. Hello, Dr. Celine. Thank you for this inspirational intervention. I just want to talk about my experience in the Youth Leadership Program. I had the honor to be part of such an opportunity. It teaches us how to become a real and a good impression of change makers and to empower all our communities. And this leads me to talk about the importance of networking, because when I started this youth leadership program personally, and I want to talk on the behalf of all the alumni that they are here with us. We were introducing ourselves to each other, to people that we have never met before. And it's very good to have this strong bond between us on a virtual level, knowing the fact that there is an increasing number of change makers in Lebanon and even in our country, Lebanon, and in too many countries in the Arab region, particularly. Therefore, I think that one of the best things that we could work on together as change makers is to build wide networks that link change makers and entrepreneurs or even change makers to each other in order to get inspired by their stories and give motivation to many other people around to, let's say, create this impact, know the importance of creating change and social innovation, which has become recommended after all the hardship we've been through and the changes that are happening currently in the world. Another point, and I'm going to talk briefly about it to give floor to the others. In youth leadership program, we always learn how to develop our family spirit and how to have this strong connection and communication between each other, which is also required in our society and in our entire communities in order to achieve the SDGs and work on the agenda that is imposed in by 2030. And talking on my let's say projects, I'm currently working on several projects. After the YLP, I was part of a hackathon. In order, I want to work on the health, about the health, and also I worked during the youth leadership program on tackling the quality education that we have in Lebanon in order to take it to another level. So it's good to have this sense of networking and communication in order to have this cohesiveness and inclusiveness in our society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Ryan, for your reflections and the question. Dear Celine, would you like to respond, or is it more like a commentary style? Like, I think.
No, I think I just wanted to just come. On network, I completely agree, and I think there are now opportunity for networking and for kind of programs to build upon each other, and I think we can try to see how we strengthen that in our YLP. I think I just want to comment on this notion of family. I think for us it was very important that this program is not about competition. It's about building up skills so that young people like Ryan can realize what is their vision and take forward their particular initiatives. And it's also to highlight, and like I said, this notion of the spirit of collaboration. I think it usually takes a few people to have a great idea, and not just to have a great idea, to also implement it in a way that is successful. So we also been highlighting very much this notion of like bringing teams to look at issues and to kind of propose initiatives to solve. So just to underline, I think this notion of family is not from a paternalistic kind of approach, but it's very much from the perspective of like, there are strengths in our numbers, in our diversity, and in our ability together to solve complex problems. Thank you.
Perfect. I see actually the hand of their Samar Dani. There, Samar, would you like to share your question or comments?
Yes, hello, hi, this is Samar Dani from Injaz, Lebanon. Okay, so I have a few comments, and actually this is more related. We're one of the partners for YLP in Lebanon, and I can't say how much the YLP has affected me personally and Injaz. I think Mona also talked about this connection, that the partnership and the connection, how it's made it possible for us also as organizations to grow. But very important is that from the day we started with YLP, I think 3 years ago and now, and as Mrs. Moyroud said, it's always been by the young people, for the young people. We are learning as much as, I'm by far not a young person. At heart, yes, but not. And the collaboration that we've been talking about, the partnership, has never been as important as it is now with the current crisis in Lebanon. The multiple crises, of course. YLP was one of the programs in 2020 that also kept us going, because we had the responsibility to all the young people who were in the YLP program and who were at some time, that was the only program they had to stick to because of the networking, because of this, the family. I know we all talk about the family, but in a sense, it's theirs. The family is there to support. So we all know this family, it's a professional family actually, but we have huge support. We as organizations from UNDP Lebanon office, but also personal customized support to each one of the young people. And I think it's never been as important to continue to grow as it is now growing with YLP. We can see the effect, the impact. Mona talked about geographical, but we're also seeing the mental health, the social, it's very important. And we are seeing young people like Rayan now. I hope I said Rayan is so excited about the program always that he's willing to say a lot about it. Thank you, Rayan. But we are seeing how everybody wants to do something to improve, first of all, themselves and the others. And I can't say again, this is really important. What's being done now, the way YLP is growing, but maintaining its spirit and its core values of supporting young people, but also bringing in young people to bring the change and the ideas. It's been a great thing. And I also want to thank everybody at UNDP Lebanon, especially Nada, Nadine, Mrs. Moyroud, definitely, and all the YLP youth. For me personally, this has been, as it's always is, a good journey. And I'm happy that we have all these partners continuing together for it. So thank you very much. Again, it's a reflection maybe, but on the need for it, not a question, but thanks a lot.
Dr. To, if I may, I have a follow-up question to Samar. Because before this meeting, we informed the partners that so far for the YLP7, we had more than 1,050 applications. And Samar said that she's gonna take the 50 participants and the other 1,000 will be distributed among the other partners. So based on your reflection, Samar, are you going to switch and take the 1,000 and the 50 would be spread among other partners? Well,
oh, you know me, Nada. Of course, I'm going to do it. I'm loving every day. Nadine updates us with the count, and the good thing. This is a positive count. We've been now used to seeing like all types of following the numbers, and this is a number we love to have and to grow. So don't worry. Yes, I'll I'll take the 1,000. I'm sure we'll have 2,000 more also. Thanks, Nada.
Inshallah, thank you.
So the next person actually for the question is, I can see first Zinat, then Asma, then Tekang, then Lama, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Celine, about this amazing presentation, and thank you everybody for joining us. My question is about the role of youth people, Lebanese people, in volunteering work. So since you are running a leadership program for youth people, I would like to know about the volunteering part in this program and the impact that they are doing positively in the society, not only on Lebanese society, but also in refugees communities, Palestinians, Syrians, and even the vulnerable people from other countries. Because we have Sudanese, we have from Somalia, we have from other worlds. So can you tell us about your part in raising the awareness of youth people in joining your program as volunteering, and give us real examples and real outcomes your partners or your participants in your program have done in the society?
You want me to answer directly?
Dr.
Sure.
Tucker.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an open discussion, please. Please.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much for the question. That's a very good question. Listen, I think, and here I will also pass it to my Lebanese colleagues. I mean, both from my own office, but also from our partner organization. I think in terms of the YLP, what we try to do is to support young people with ideas that they have in terms of how they can give back to their community. So either it's I don't know, young people that are interested in setting up social businesses in terms of recycling. Some of them is working with persons with disabilities. Others, it's young people being concerned with gender-based violence. So we work them through some of those, some of this process so that they can take forward their ideas and translate it into businesses. And we have a lot of examples of successful businesses or community engagement. In terms of them becoming volunteers, I mean, what we saw after the Beirut blast is actually a lot of young people, including some of our own YLP, actually took it to the street and actually volunteered to help with the cleanup. They volunteered to provide food with to the communities that were and communities here. It's both Lebanese refugees and migrants that had been affected by the blast. I mean, some of the initiatives I was speaking to earlier. Some of the initiatives I was speaking to earlier, they actually are young people that are volunteering time to actually help find donations for helping families that are in need in Lebanon because of the socioeconomic kind of situation that we are facing. So you have different ways of young people giving back. Just a separate though related examples after the blast as UNDP, we've done an assessment, environmental assessment of the damage. So looking at the damage in terms of the buildings that had been completely or partially destroyed. And for that, we had more than 70 engineers from across the country that volunteered their time to actually help us do the assessment. So I think there's a lot of example of volunteerism in Lebanon, either links to the YLP or actually linked to young people that want to contribute. We also have quite a high number of UN volunteers, you know, through the United Nations Volunteers Program that we have at the office. And that's another way for us to also bring volunteerism at the core of what we do. Nada, did I forget something? It's possible, very possible.
No, Celine, you said it all. And I would like to highlight also that so many YLP alumni are volunteering with us and supporting the program to grow. And they are putting their expertise on the table to make sure that the program is enhanced. Like I can give an example for Hani Anan, who is supporting us in developing a platform just for the YLP so that people can have access to all the information and also for the application. So we have so many different youth and YLPers who are volunteering, giving back to the YLP, as well as in light, as Celine said, in light of the current challenges in Lebanon, they are providing support to different communities. And they are, by the way, supporting each other. Yani, for example, there are so many YLPers who started their business and need support and need help. The YLPers are supporting them voluntarily in their projects. Over to you.
Thank you so much, dear Nada. So I think let's take the remaining 3 questions for the sake of time. First, please, I forgot to order, but let's go with Tekang, Asma, and Lama, I think, according to the time they raised their hands. Please, if you can keep your questions and precise, please, so that we try to stay within our time limits. Dear Tekang, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Celine, for the beautiful explanation. It's quite an enriching one. I want to find out from you, Lebanon and probably the Middle East and the North of Africa seems to be divided across political, economic, sociocultural, and probably religious dimensions, particularly in Lebanon at this point in time. What strategies did you probably develop to bring all these young people together, and what challenges do you face looking at all these kind of dichotomous line amongst these young people in Lebanon, to be precise?
Thank you. We'll take the 3 questions, right?
Yes, actually, it's much better if we please take the questions first and then you respond and then.
Okay, sorry.
So dear Asma, please also share your question and then after their Lama, please.
Hello everyone. Mainly, I don't want to ask anything. I want to just comment on what Celine said. Mainly, thank you, Celine, for mentioning me in your speech. And I want to thank also Nadine and Nada and Samar for this important opportunity that was YLP, that was in our lives mainly an inflection point that we had. It was fruitful for us, for networking, mainly for me. They supported me a lot in my project Salamati, and also while I was working in Nafas. The moment we joined YLP 5, I was like, no, I don't want to work anymore on my project because I'm not having much support. I'm not persuaded anymore to encouraged anymore to finish it. But from their comments, from their support, in every step I was doing it, it was really one of my life-changing opportunities, YLP. So thank you for this program. And for me, I advise all my friends or my colleagues to join YLP 7 and YLP 8 and to all the YLP programs that will come in the future. It's just a comment from my side. And thank you very much for this opportunity and for this chatting.
Thank you, Asma. And finally, please, there, Lama, if you can please unmute yourself and raise the question.
Yes, hello. Actually, it's my pleasure to join you today. I don't have any question to say, but I just want to comment about my experience as a YLP4 participant with UNDP. Actually, I get the chance to get introduced to a lot of initiatives, and currently I'm working with Caesar projects that focuses on rural development. So especially in rural areas, we're working with youth in order to get more job opportunities. So it's really important nowadays, especially in these circumstances, to focus on rural areas and to help youth in order to stay in their villages. This knowledge that they gain in order to implement their ideas in their villages, not leaving it and going abroad. And I think UNDP and YLP7 is a very important chance for them. I want to thank you for this continuous support and following up in every step that we are going. Thank you for all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Evren, there is also a question in the chat box. I don't know if Dana feels comfortable like unmuting herself and talking. Yeah, because I was reading the question down in the chat box.
I didn't, I just see the question marks actually. Yeah. I thought it's a comment. Sorry, Dana. So what maybe I can do is I can just read the question, or maybe also like anyone who wants to read it. But the question is, UNDP is the cluster leader for early recovery activities. part of building resilience and enabling societies to move from relief to development is prevention and preparedness. What actual steps are taken in a country like Lebanon, considered in war zone and conflicts for so long? And then afterwards, the question is going on, but I think this is pretty much the gist of the question. There's Celine, please, the floor is yours to respond. And
okay, thank you very much. So first, thanks to our former YLPs for those kind words of appreciation. I mean, really, our success is your success. I mean, that's for me, you know, the reason why we have, I think, a high number of applicants for this round of YLP is because we have ambassadors like you, like yourself. You know, it's the word of mouth. If you have had a difficult, a bad experience, you will not tell your friends. So I think thanks for that. This is a vote of confidence, and this is what gives legitimacy to the work that we do. So thanks again. On your questions around like challenges, I mean, I think the way we've been going about it is first that we've made sure that people from all across Lebanon apply. And as I was saying, I think there was last year or the year before, there were some discussions among ourselves how we make sure that we outreach as much as possible so that we don't just reach young people that are in urban context, but also in more maybe in other parts of Lebanon and maybe more urban part of Lebanon. And I think the best is the word of mouth against, like I was saying, because I think people have confidence to apply. It's because they know that their friends or someone in their family also had a good experience. There were some standards associated to the initiative. I think yes, Lebanon as people from Lebanon can be said to be very different, but I also think they're very similar in what they share. In my view, they share the same longing for a stable future, for jobs, for governance, and for stability. So I think it's important that we focus on what brings us together and not necessarily what divides us. And I think this is the type of safe space that we've established, where I'm sure, when discussing the SDGs, you discuss all those issues. I mean, SDG 16 is exactly about those issues of governance, and political issues. So I think it is a safe space, and I believe that this is a space where people can share. We don't have to all agree. I think the importance is to discuss in a way that remains respectful of each other. And then on the questions around the cluster in early recovery, I mean, I think what does to respond to your question, Dana, I think as UNDP, besides the work that we have on young people, we've also been working across the country on issues of recovery. So we work with municipalities to try to look at how we address, the impact of various shocks. You mentioned crisis and conflict, but I think, we also have all the shocks in Lebanon. Some of them are of socioeconomic nature, that is putting more and more people in poverty. Some of them are related to issues of climate and environment, where we're seeing more and more flood and the destruction of the environment. So we work across the country to try to help people and community withstand and manage the impact of those shocks. So that means, a focus on livelihood, a focus on service delivery, a focus also on issues of social cohesion, and also a focus around preserving the environment. At UNDP, we also are looking at issues that relate to at the national level to issues of governance. So, we've been focusing a lot on issues of transparency and accountability, including engaging young people recently on the national anti-corruption strategy that the government of Lebanon adopted last year, and trying to see how we can engage young people in supporting the implementation, but also the monitoring of this the strategy. So there's various kind of elements, and I think part of our next challenge is a challenge for Nadine and Nada, is to make sure that we start connecting our work with young people with also other work streams that we have at UNDP, so that we also bring young people at the center of other work that we do in Lebanon. So to be further discussed. Thank you.
Thank you so much there, Celine. This was really fantastic. And thank you so much, dear participants, for joining today. So before we finish, I want to thank you all once again. And as you know, we have a schedule for 30 days. There are some missing days on Fridays we don't have, but mostly we have, and some days we have two presentations. I shared a WhatsApp link. If you want to be informed about our programs, please be part of it. It's for Ahad for Post-COVID Humanity. And before we finish today, if you have to go somewhere else, please feel free to leave whenever you like. But if you want to enjoy around the 2 minutes of a special music prepared by a Sudanese youth group for Design Post-COVID Humanity, I will be putting it on. So maybe this could be the smooth ending for today. But again, feel free if you have to leave, we totally understand. And I'm starting it.
Mr.
And
I have a question.
Who is talking? I can't see. Sorry. Yes, I'm listening.
On the days that we have two presentations in the same day, like 21 of April, it will be on the same time, like from 2 to 3, or
no?
Like,
it's the same one and the other. So it's not simultaneous.
So I
very...
can choose one of them, or
No. You can join both. It's one starts at 2 and then at 2:30 the other starts.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, everyone. 1, 2, 3. You can see my screen?
Yes.
And can you hear? Thank you so much, everyone, for staying. If you want the song, I can share with you the link. You can visit, you can listen. I just wanted to give you a taste of it. So we are so grateful to Drum Circle Sudan for doing this for us. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, inshallah. Once again, thanks. Yes, Sinat.
Sir, I have a question for you and UNDP Lebanon. If youth people in diaspora, I mean, who are living outside Lebanon, want to join the programs, how can they connect with them?
Okay, I'm gonna answer this question. So basically, you have to ask them to go to ylplebanon.org. It's a website and there they can find all the information. They can apply. Now the deadline for the application for the YLP7 is April 20, so they have some time. So they can apply there, and that's it. Even if they are not living in Lebanon, because of the virtual implementation of the program, it will be easier for them.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, UNDP. Thanks to
Thank you, Celine.
all the colleagues.
Bye.